moving on to our second segment, Certificate of Entitlement prices ended lower across the board at the latest tender last week. Now, with the premium for smaller cars taking the biggest tumble, COE prices for cars up to 1,600cc and 130 bhp fell by 26.4% to end at $27,000. Now, COE prices for cars above 1,600cc slid 11.3% to end at 42,564. Now, the plunge lured prospective buyers to car showrooms over the weekend. Now, as tempting as it may be, is it advisable to buy a car now? Now, to tell us more, I have senior transport correspondent Christopher Tan. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you.
So, Chris, in your commentary piece earlier this month, you said, don't rush to push COE prices higher. Would you advise the same in this instant?
Yeah, I would say that there's really no need to rush at any point in time. I think if you looked at the COE prices in the last few rounds, you saw it on the uptrend, right?
Yeah.
It was going up and up. And that obviously caused some people to panic.
Yeah.
Caused some people to go rush to the showroom to catch it before it went higher.
Yeah.
And the effect of that was, the opposite, right?
Yeah.
It pushed prices even higher.
Even higher, yeah.
Yeah, so I think in a situation like this, it's always wise to exercise some, restraint, hold back a little, because the COE system is very reactive to demand. Yeah. Right, the more people go in, the more it will rise. Yeah. It's a very, very simple system.
Yeah, system.
So if people withheld their purchases for a little bit longer, there is every chance that prices will stabilize or even dip as it did in the last round.
Yeah. So it's really simple economics of demand and supply, right?
Yes.
So in this instant, Chris, if one does not buy a car, should then they renew their COE for those who currently have?
Well, that's
cars?
Always an option. I think in Singapore, the most economical way of owning a car is to own it for 10 years, right? The duration of your COE. And at the end of that, the option of extending for another 10 years, providing that your car is in good shape, it hasn't been giving you any problems, it's always a wise move too. Because you are amortizing that big ticket item over a longer period. Compared to making a new purchase. Right. But of course, if the new car is at quite a low price, lower than what you paid for your older car, then it makes sense to renew it. I mean, to trade it in for a new car, right? Yeah, definitely. So it all also depends on your personal situation, right? Your personal financial situation, point,
and of course your needs,
your family needs, a point in your career. Your gearing, that means how much borrowing you already have, and whether you can do better with the money that you would have put down for a car. Right. Because if you do not buy a car in Singapore, you could very well end up with $500,000 more in your retirement fund. Right?
Definitely, Chris. And I think at this juncture, of course, we would like to look at the infographics of the COE prices for the different categories. And of course, the question is, Chris, it seems that Cat B is pulling further away from Category A. Why is this so?
All right, this category would be the category that the private hire car operators are participating in most aggressively. Right now, the trend is for them to buy a lot of hybrid cars. Hybrid cars are in demand because the drivers gain from better fuel economy. And because these hybrid cars belong, most of them anyway, or if not all, belong to Category B, which is why you see the demand in Category B being higher, and consequently the prices
go up,
pulling away from Cat A
as well. Right. So, Chris, of course, I think a lot of our viewers, they want to know, any predictions on the next COE tender?
Well, I think very much depends on what people out there do, right? I think if they, I think there is every chance for it to go further. Maybe not immediately, but down the road. Because if you look at the prices last year, last year the supply was actually smaller than the year before, and yet prices was actually quite soft,
Quite soft.
right? So I think there's no need to rush. I mean, going back to your first question, there's really no need to rush. And the purchase of a car, decision to buy at which point, really depends on a whole range of reasons.
And of course, the next tender, it will be in 2 weeks' time, is that right?
Yes.
In 2 weeks' time. Of course, last week was the latest tender, so we are expecting the next one to come up probably next week or the following week,
Yeah.
All right. So once again, thank you, Chris, for sharing some insights on whether one should buy a car amidst the lower COE prices that closed at the latest tender last week. So once again, thank you, Chris.